It's a privilege to be here with everyone. This seems like a good opportunity to be able to talk about certain themes that I think are prevalent not only in the world but to ourselves individually. That's sort of the inspiration behind this book that I wrote. And I think one of the things is that I'm sort of coming from two cultures, as it were, and I find myself in a situation of having to interpret and translate certain themes that are very prevalent, certainly in the Tibetan culture and a lot of Asian cultures, and in terms of what their application to modern time is. And I think these days people are more interested in meditation and obviously yoga and these various things. Generally speaking, people tend to think of spirituality as something that maybe is you have to leave the world for, or that one has to become a monastic, or one has to sort of leave everything behind. There's certain traditions that do that in the sense of you go into retreat or you do solitary retreat or meditation, but also there is the tradition of really how you take the spirituality into everyday life. In my culture, and you can say, and also just sort of my upbringing and the people who I know, it's everyone in terms of family people and, they have businesses or leaders of countries and so forth. So it's very much incorporated. And I think that one of the things that I tend to see is that people, even when they come to me and they want to learn how to do meditation, I think sometimes they think, they're going to have to now change everything that they do. And so, they ask me, do you think I should quit my job or, do this and do that? And I say, well, if you want to quit your job, go ahead. But, that's nothing to do with me. And don't tell them I told you should quit your job, But really, what is it that you should do is you should take the principles and incorporate them into everyday, your everyday life situation. And I've always felt that I think one of the themes that is very prevalent now is that, as I go around and meet people, is that the world is becoming increasingly speedier, busier, more aggressive. That there's a quality of people are overwhelmed by the world. Things are coming at them. And I think in my attempt at least, and that's why I titled this book, Ruling Your World or Our Own World, the point is that we should not be overwhelmed by the world, and that there should be a quality where we are proactive, we engage, and we should have the ability as human beings to direct our life in that particular way. And in the culture of meditation, we always talk about two kinds of karma. Karma literally just means action, and it's not necessarily one action always leads to another action. Many causes and conditions come about in order for one thing to occur. I think literally if we eat a piece of food, how many people did it take to grow it, and how was it presented, and all the ingredients is. And everything, I think, that when we look at the world is complicated in that way, and we call it interdependent. And everything is interdependent in terms of what actually happens right now to us. One of the themes here with this kind of action, or karma you can say, is that it says that all of us have two basic kinds of karma. We have certain karma that already has occurred, that is latent karma, things that we did that will kind of ripen actions. So in a sense that if we have been mad at somebody and so forth, there's a certain kind of negativity, and at some point it comes around to us. And at the same time, they say there's certain karmas that's going to happen, and at the same time, right now, the predestined and future karma has not been decided. We have, what we do right now determines what's happening in the future. So I think a lot of us, in a sense, get up in the morning and there's a quality where we have to go through our day, that there's not a quality of how we can actually engage or change what we're doing in the particular day. And I think when we get up, and I always feel like in the morning is a very important part of our day. What is the attitude that we are taking? What kind of karmic situation are we going to make? What is it that we want to do? And as I do travel around the world, I sort of notice in terms of how people are managing themselves, managing their time, and how they handle themselves. And I think there's a quality sometimes where people in the business of the day, in business of kind of society, are able to either maintain a sense of their own strength and their own purpose in life, or that we become kind of reduced in life force energy. And in Tibetan, we call this lungta, or wind horse. And we call this quality of lungta is able to accomplish your wishes, or in a modern kind of term, success. And I think really what's happening now is that it's the ability to have full success is full happiness of life. And one of the things here is that I think in our society, in a sense, what's happened is we sort of separated our job and our work, and you can say our spiritual training and so forth. But the way I grew up, it was sort of always kind of mixed. And I'm not talking about politics and so forth. I'm talking about a sense of the whole person.